Okay, perfect. And I appointed people to evaluate, correct?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, let's begin.
Okay. For the last couple of decades, the United States and the rest of the world have been in a war against terrorism. The center part of the terrorism has been pinpointed to Afghanistan. Over the last, from 2001, October, to December 2014, all combat operations at this time were notified as Operation Enduring Freedom. During this time, I would join myself in the Marine Corps, and I would deploy at a time from 2009 to 2010 and be part of an essential mission that would help in victories within the war in Afghanistan. Later, after about 2014 December, the combat operations would stop in Afghanistan and we would move more into an advisory role. And later, we would actually, now, just recently, we did become, sign a peace agreement with the Taliban. But before I actually start talking about these points, I want to show you where Afghanistan is on a map. So you can see here, Afghanistan is located here in the Middle East, around Iran, Pakistan, and near India. If you were to take Afghanistan and move it over here to the United States on the East Coast, it kind of gives you an idea of the size of the country. Now that I showed you a map of where Afghanistan is, let me talk about Operation Enduring Freedom. In an article posted in 2009, the U.S. Rethinks Afghanistan Strategy, titled U.S. Rethinks Afghan Strategy, posted by the BBC News. That the following countries were involved in the war. This here is a map of a more detailed idea of Operation Enduring Freedom, of the countries that were involved, the amount of troops that were allocated at the time. It was more or less than as most people may think, it was just a United States effort in the war, but as you can see here, it was more of a NATO collaboration within the first stages of Operation Enduring Freedom. As I mentioned before, I did join the Marine Corps and I did go overseas at the time. I was able to fight, or my assigned combat unit at the time was actually stationed in the Helmand Province, where we would start an Operation Mars-Tak. Operation Mars-Tak, in a report from the Institute Study of War, was a battle to go into the town of Marja in the Helmand Province of Afghanistan to fight a drug war to help to stop the Taliban from using the poppy that was grown within the region to fund themselves on the black market with heroin. At the time, before the mission even started, it was set to last almost 3 months. When my unit went in there in February with a collaboration of other units, as I showed before, of other countries, on this map here, here's the Helmand Province. As you can see here, we had a collaboration with more than just ourselves. We had the British alongside with other joint collaborations. After Operation Mars-Tak, as I said before, it only took us, the mission was supposed to last close to 3 months. It only took us a little over a week. But after 2010, later, the war would still continue. And later on, and moving forward into 2014, all combat operations were stopped in Afghanistan, and we moved forward into what is called Operation Sentinel. In an article posted on in a report written by the Inspector General of Afghanistan, of the Afghanistan War, the types of activities that happened during Operation Sentinel, as opposed to being more offensive, was more of a counterterrorism act, a training, advising, and assisting Afghan national and defense security, as opposed to always be on the offensive. This type of ideas between the two of them will show you that, it does show you that there is more war than just fighting. But later on, after all the war in 2014 and all the conflict that's been happening, on February 29th of this prior week, we actually were able to, the United States and these joint collaborative forces were to actually sit down with the Taliban and were able to sign a peace treaty. In an article posted on AlJazeera.com titled Afghanistan's Taliban-US Agreement, the agreement has 4 parts. The US and NATO will withdraw troops within 14 months. Taliban's guaranteed that Afghan soil will not be used to harm or condone terrorism against anyone that is a United States ally or the United States. Also, too, there will be, within March 10th, there will be a sit-down negotiation between the country of Afghanistan and the Taliban. And there is now a permanent and a comprehensive ceasefire. So hopefully in closing, hopefully with the information that I was able to give you a more inside look of the war in Afghanistan. Thank you.